Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. I'm your host, Cardmaster Phoenix here, as always, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my Crystal Beast slash advanced Crystal Beast, whatever you want to call it, deck profile. So, first of all, I'm going to preface this by saying I did not pour as much time into this deck as I did with my Abyss Actor deck profile, and the reason for that is in the time I had to play this, I felt that I was sufficiently schooled enough to know the mechanics of it and just the basics in and outs and some combos and field samples for you guys. So, there's that. If I do end up editing this deck though, I will go ahead and bring back a deck file update. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. First of all, we have 3 copies of Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle. By far the weakest Crystal Beast there is out there, and also the world record holder. In addition, for not only being the weakest Crystal Beast monster, but also the world record holder for the closest monster to resemble that of a Pokemon. Anyway, with that being said, let's get into its effects. One thing that you should know that I don't gotta go over it with every single monster is that the way Crystal Beast works, what makes them special, is whenever they're destroyed while face up on the field, instead of getting sent to the graveyard, you have the option of throwing them into your spawn trap card zone. So that's just a pretty cool way to me of having your graveyard conserved, or just in a or just even if it's as simple as making your opponent waste time on using a Twin Twisters or whatever they may have, because that is going to make them lose that card, as well as either a card they discarded or that card that's face down that they used for it, or whatever it may be. And at the end of the day, it's still just as useful in the graveyard as it is in the Spawn Trap card zone. We'll get to that in a little bit. So when this card's special summoned, you can special summon as many Crystal Beasts and its named monster cards as possible from your Spawn Trap card zone. And then, of course, staple effect. To me, when I say staple effect, I refer to effect shared by every card in a certain archetype, whatever. This goes very well with Crystal Promise. I'll get into that a little bit later, but in summary, you target it, you target Carbuncle with this, and then you special summon as many from your Spawn Trap cards in as possible. Because this targets Crystal Promise targets Carbuncle, special summons Carbuncle, Carbuncle chains her effect, and then that brings out everybody else. In your Spawn Trap card zone. With that, we have 3 copies of Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle. This goes very well with the next monster in our lineup, but the reason I run this is I just really like having as many as possible, which is why you can see I've ran 26 monsters instead of the standard 24. His effect is once per turn, you can target one face-up Crystal Beast card you control, and that is very important that you notice that it says you can target one face-up Crystal Beast card you control, not Crystal Beast monster or one Crystal Beast card, meaning even those in your Spawn Trap card zone can be affected by it. Return that card to the top of your deck. Also notice how it doesn't say shuffle your deck, meaning that it will be your next draw. So that's also very useful for getting into the card that we're about to next. It's okay for attacking, but it's also just good for overlaying, exceeds plays, etc. And then of course it has its staple effect. With that, we have my favorite Crystal Beast, which is Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. You always, 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 always want this card in your hand or on the field. However, just however you wanted to get it out there, you want it out there. Its effect is when this card's summoned, which again, it is very important that you take time to read through it carefully and notice that it says when this card is summoned, not normal, not special, specified summoned. Whenever it is summoned, just flat out summoned, you can target one Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your Spelltrap card zone and move it there as face up continuous spell card, as you would with anything else. And its staple effect, it's the best beat stick here. Well, no, the second best beat stick here, or should I say beast stick, because they're all beasts. And it's also very good for Xyz plays. And what I like to do is I like to use Cobalt Eagle, summon it. Well, first of all, I'll summon a copy of Sapphire Pegasus, and then get Ruby Carbuncle out into the Spelltrap card zone for future plays of Crystal Promise. Next turn, I'll summon a Cobalt Eagle. Cobalt Eagle will pop the, not pop, we'll have the Cobalt Eagle target the Sapphire Pegasus, put it back on top of the deck. It's your next turn draw, so it's not a dead draw. And more importantly than anything else, it sets up combos for so many other cards. And moving on, we have also 3 copies of Crystal Beast Topaz Tiger. So if this card attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 400 attack during the damage step only, so it's a 2k beat stick during damage step. And of course, a stable effect, same thing, good for Xyz plays, good for attacking on conditional effects, and yeah. Moving on, I also run 3 copies of Crystal Beast Amber Mammoth. This is the tank of the deck, while it's face up. Whenever you have another face up Crystal Beast and its name monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can make this card the attack target instead, and if this card is destroyed while isn't a monster or card zone, you can just place it back in the Spelltrap card zone as a continuous spell card. Pretty simple, pretty basic, same thing. Nothing really new across any of these. Moving on, we have 3 copies of Crystal Beast Emerald Tortoise. This is by far the best defensive monster in the deck. In terms of just sheer defense, because it's got 2,000 defense points, and once per turn you can target one face-up monster you control that's attacked this turn, change it to defense position, which is great if you special summon this and you have Carbuncle and attack directly or what have you, change it to defense position, and then that way you don't take any damage while simultaneously having 2 cards to make your opponent go through. And of course the staple effect. It's good for rank 3 plays. I don't run that many rank 3s, but the ones I do, it's most certainly worth it because there are times where it would appear to be a dead draw otherwise. Finally, I'm running 3 copies of Crystal Beast Amethyst Cat. This thing can attack your this card can attack your opponent directly, although if you do it this way, it removes half the damage, so 600 instead of 1200. Again, a nice level 3 overlay fodder, get out your good Xyz plays, etc. Finally, we come to the boss monster of the deck. We have 3 copies of Rainbow Dragon. Can't be normal summons are set. Must be special summoned from your hand by having 7 Crystal Beast Insane cards with different names on your field or in your graveyard, and cannot be special summoned by any other ways. This card cannot activate its effects the turn it is summoned. Is special summoned by other ways. However, and this card also cannot activate its effects the turn it is special summoned. Its effects during either player's turn. You can send all Crystal Beasts and its name monsters you control to the graveyard, and this card gains 1,000 attack for each card sent. This is basically I know it's called Rainbow Dragon, but Konami messed up. They meant to call it OTK Dragon. OTK Dragon, because this will one shot your opponent. Really, it's not a joke. Send 4. If you have 5 others on your field, 4 others on your field, pop them all. This doubles its power, 8,000 attack points, and I think I already used this joke, but again, it's just it's an FU OTK to the face. That's all that matters. Or you can banish all Crystal Beast monsters and exam cards in your graveyard and shuffle all cards on the field into the deck. Which, I mean, I'm not sure if you picked up on this, guys, but it should be pretty obvious which one you're gonna want to use more often. Finally, to wrap up the monsters, we have 2 copies of Summoner Monk because he's at 2. While this card's face up on the field, it cannot be attributed. If this card's normal or flip summoned, it automatically changes to defense position. And once per turn, you can discard 1 spell card from your hand to special summon 1 level 4 monster from your deck, but that monster can't attack this turn, no problem. You go into your Xyz play with it. The card you're just going to want to get rid of is really anything, I guess. Crystal Promise would be the best. Other than that, your target is, of course, Sapphire Pegasus, and that's about all I have to say for that. Moving on to spells, you have 3 copies of Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. This is conditionally powerful depending on how many different Crystal Beast Instant cards you have in your Spell and Trap card zone in order to activate and resolve these effects. 1, this card can't be destroyed by card effects. 2, once per turn, including the opponent's, you can have the battle damage you would take. 3, during either player's turn, when a spell or trap card is activated, you can send 1 Crystal Beast Instant monster you control to the graveyard to negate and destroy that card upon activation. 4, once per turn, during your main phase, you can draw 1 extra card. 5, once per turn, during your main phase, you can target 1 Crystal Beast and same card in your Spell and Trap card zone and special summon that target. This is just amazing for pretty much any purpose whatsoever. It used to be great for popping opponents' field cards, before that got fixed because Konami, best company ever, 10 out of 10, would not play again. Anyway, moving on, we have 3 copies of the best spell in the deck, Crystal Release. It can only be equipped to Crystal Beast monster. It gains 800 attack, making pretty much anything a 2k plus beat stick, for the exception of Ruby Carbuncle and Immortality over there. Small and scrawny. Anyway, it gains 800 attack when this card's sent from the field to the graveyard by any means. Because the way equip cards work is once that card is sent to the graveyard, the way equip cards work is when a monster that's equipped with an equipped spell card sent to the graveyard, so is that spell. So it's the same thing here, only it's also dictated by if it's destroyed by card effects. You can place 1 Crystal Beast Insane monster from your deck face up in your Spell and Trap card zone as a continuous spell card. Hands down the best spell card in this deck, except for the field spell. Moving on, we have what I just like to call Crystal Beast Greed, because that's what it is. It's 3 copies of rare value. It's basically a pot of greed for the Crystal Beasts. It's a Crystal Beast exclusive pot of greed. If there are 2 or more face-up Crystal Beast cards in its name, cards in your Spell and Trap card zone, your opponent chooses 1 Crystal Beast card in your Spell and Trap card zone. Since it's a grave, then you draw 2. Amazing card. It's a free +1. Some people would say +2, but I disagree because you're getting rid of this card, so it's 2 minus 1 is 1. There you go. Moving on, we also have 3 copies of Crystal Beacon. Special summon Crystal Beast Insane monster from your deck. You must have 2 or more Crystal Beast cards in your Spell and Trap card zone to activate this card and resolve this effect. This is just good for getting out your last-ditch effort attempts on getting a decent Xyz play. If you're running those link plays, just whatever you have in store for that. 2 copies of Crystal Promise. Target 1 Crystal Beast card in its name spell card. When you spell and trap card zone, special summon that target. by far the weakest spell that we are running in this deck, so I only run it at 2. And finally, to round off the spells, you have 3 copies of Crystal Blessing. The way this works is it allows you to target up to 2 Crystal Beast monsters in your graveyard. Place those targets face up in your spell and trap card zone as continuous spell cards. So that's really good. Finally, moving on to traps, you have 1 Bottomless staple, 1 Solemn Warning staple, just because these are just so often used in the meta. 2 Magic Cylinders and 3 Mirror Force, just because that's my insignia of, yeah, I made this deck. I don't really carry side deck cards because I just don't believe in it. To me, it's basically like setting for your opponent, which is just kind of dirty, and I'm not Bandit Keith, so moving on. To the extra deck, we have 1 Abyss Trawler, just in case I come up against something like that. Gravekeeper deck, or just whatever. 2 Cowboy. There's let's return. You can detach a card, and if it's an attack, you gain 1k. It gains 1k. Also, your opponent's monster loses 500, and then defense position loses 800 for your opponent. 3 Castel, 3 Emerald. Both those cards are the exact same effects as the ones I used in my Abyss Actor deck profile. So, you can check that out if you need. Or you can just Google it, but real fast, here's a quick overview. I would do it I would just go ahead and read it off to you, but in all honesty, my throat is kind of sore. And there was, like, I think the, doctor said it was irritated because I was, leave it to me. I like my food hot because I can't stand cold food. Never ate a thing of ice cream in my life. So what I did was I was eating Baconator fries, and then it was heated up for 40 seconds when I usually heat it up for like 30 to 35, and it burnt some of the skin off the roof of my tongue, so now the skin's irritated. So of course it kind of hurts to talk a little bit, so I'm trying to blast through this as fast as possible. 3 copies of Granosaurus, very, very, very basic Xyz monster. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, send it to the graveyard, attach 1k damage to your opponent. Basically an improved Gaga, which is why we run that 3 Cowboy at 2, plus in addition we have some other rank 4 plays. Finally, 3 copies of number 101 Silent Honor Arc. Detach both. Control 1, you can detach that if this card will be destroyed instead. With that, that would just about wrap it up for this deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been your host, Cardmaster Phoenix, signing out. See you guys next time. Have a good one.